This is a true and first-hand account of Afghan migrants and my experience of them. It's a long story, not sure how long it will take. I've never really put it to a video before. I'll probably put myself down the bottom left, put some pretty pictures on the screen just for you to have a look at, to contextualise migrants, Afghanistan migrants, especially on the news recently, taking the mick, going back and forth to Afghanistan, where they've got so-called threats from the Taliban, and therefore claiming asylum over here. Many of them, I suppose, are legitimate, many are not legitimate. This story really touches on those who are something else altogether. Serving soldier, ex-serving soldier, served in Afghanistan a number of times. This story dates back to, I think, 2006. We were stationed at a place called Kajaki, up in Helmand province. With Kajaki, was an American presence there as well. The main mission in the Kajaki area was to protect the large dam that was going to install hydroelectric power for a large part of the region. The Americans hired a bunch of militia, basically a bunch of locals with some really dodgy Soviet-era weapons, AK-47s, etc. And they worked alongside us to guard the dam. Never really saw much action up there. We did something different, but that doesn't really matter what we did there. But the story is about the militia. Why I'm highlighting this story is it's got some pertinence to the migrants that have been coming across from Afghanistan. Because see, a lot of the migrants are, just to sum it up very, very briefly, and if I'm getting slightly wrong, I'm sure there's lots of other information out there, but the basic gist of it is people worked with us in Afghanistan. Their names got leaked by the MOD in recent years, brought them back across here to protect them from the Taliban. Indeed, we did work with quite a few good people out there. Militia, I'm not really sure if they got on the list. I'm sure some of them might got on the list, but especially our interpreters or the Terps, they got on, worked with a few good guys. They might have got brought across. No exception of that. No exception of that at all. Those who have legitimate reasons, or actual migrants, no problem at all. Those who are bogus, those who are faking their details to get across, those who are making up stories to get across, and more importantly, those who are not migrants at all, but hidden sleeper cells, potential terrorists and haters of the Western nation. Those got a real issue with. Now this story kind of touches on that and who we might be bringing across here. So picture yourself back in Kajaki, 2006-ish, working to protect our hydroelectric dam. The militia we had up there, and two guys really stand out. One we were friends with, one we weren't too sure about. First guy, Abdul Wuli, didn't speak a word of English. Nevertheless, real nice guy. Managed to get points across with hand gestures, gesticulations. We shared our spare ammunition. He gave us fresh local bread, which was quite nice, really. He didn't speak a word of English, and really dodgy old AK-47, probably passed down for his grandfather or father, whatever. But real dodgy weapon. He was hired by the Americans. Normally, I think the notional rate was $10 a day. Maybe even $12 a day to work with us. That was Abdul Wali. Abdul Malak, he was different. Big, massive black beard, massive, but scary vizier type black beard, and piercing blue eyes. And he'd look at us, and sometimes we'd catch him looking at us in a very staring manner. He always seemed just a little bit off. We were up there in Kajaki for I think about a month, 2 months. We used to spend days outside the FOB, Forward Operating Base. We used to, it was up in the hill. So on the left, I think the hill was called, that we operated off of. There was an old mortar shelter or some sort of Russian armory, really makeshift Russian armory. We used to sleep in at night. One of us always on stag duty, guard duty, of course. But the militia sleeping alongside us, no problem. There could have been a problem. Luckily there wasn't at the time. Anyway, our tour ended in Afghanistan. We went back again a couple of years later, and we made some inquiries for the people that had taken over from us, the subsequent soldiers that had taken over from us, and we made general inquiry. How's Abdul Willie doing? He wasn't really a friend, but someone we definitely on friendly terms with, someone we quite liked. And it was obviously catching up, trying to find out what's happened. Abdul Willie was no longer with us. Abdul Willie had been, I'll try not to get myself censored on TikTok, but face, gun, etc. Add the two together and you get the idea. Now the face plus the gun, well, that was because of Abdul Malak. Because it turned out that Abdul Malak, the once a time militia, had turned out to be, or turned to becoming one of the larger Taliban leaders of the area in Kajaki, and obviously he had an exception to people like Abdul Willie. This was Abdul Malak. The guy always did look a bit dodgy, but also worked alongside us, slept next to us, etc., etc. My question is, with all the Afghan refugees, interpreters, etc. coming across, like I said, some legitimate, some not so legitimate, how many are actually like Abdul Malak? One day, I'm sure we'll find out. Be ready.